David Vélez is not your typical billionaire banker. In fact, he is the opposite of everything most people imagine when they think of banking. Traditional banks thrive on fees, fine print, and complicated products that confuse customers. Velez built a bank that charges no fees, operates almost entirely online, and is loved by millions. That bank is Nubank, the digital banking giant from Brazil that has become the largest fintech company in Latin America and one of the most valuable financial startups in the world. The journey of David Vélez, from a middle-class childhood in Colombia to building a $50+ billion empire, is not just a business success story. It is also a story of frustration, resilience, and a belief that banking should serve people, not exploit them. Velez's decision to create a fee-free bank was radical, and it changed an industry notorious for squeezing customers. Today, Nubank has more than 100 million customers across Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. But the story of how it all started is just as fascinating as what it has become. Early life in Colombia. David Vélez was born in Medellin, Colombia, in 1981. At the time, the city was one of the most dangerous in the world, gripped by violence, instability, and economic uncertainty. His parents were middle class, and like many Colombian families, they lived through years of insecurity. When David was 9, his parents decided to leave Medellin, fearing for their children's safety. The family relocated to Costa Rica, giving David a safer environment to grow up in. This early experience shaped his outlook. Living through instability taught him resilience, but it also made him value security and opportunity. He excelled in school, eventually earning a scholarship to Stanford University in the United States. At Stanford, he studied engineering and later earned an MBA. He was fascinated by innovation, entrepreneurship, and the culture of Silicon Valley. He worked briefly at investment firms like Morgan Stanley and venture capital firms such as Sequoia Capital. But even as he built an impressive resume, he did not yet know the problem that would define his career. That discovery would come when he returned to Latin America. The banking nightmare. In 2012, Velez moved to Brazil to lead Sequoia Capital's investment efforts in Latin America. But as soon as he tried to set up a bank account, he was shocked by how difficult and painful the process was. To open a simple account, he had to wait in line for hours, fill out endless paperwork, and face dismissive treatment from bank employees. Even after getting the account, he was bombarded with fees. Fees for withdrawals, fees for transfers, fees for using his own money. For most Brazilians, this was normal. Brazil's banking sector was dominated by just a handful of massive banks that controlled almost the entire market. With little competition, they had no incentive to improve customer service or reduce costs. Fees were among the highest in the world, and millions of people were excluded from banking altogether because they could not afford the charges. For Velez, this was more than just an inconvenience. It was an opportunity. He realized that if banking in Brazil was this bad for him, a wealthy, well-educated foreign professional, then it must be much worse for ordinary people. He began asking himself a question. What if he could build a bank that people actually loved? One that charged no fees and treated customers with respect. The birth of Nubank. In 2013, David Vélez founded Nubank in São Paulo with 2 co-founders, Cristina Junqueira, a Brazilian banking executive, and Edward Whibble, an American computer scientist. Their mission was clear: to fight complexity and empower people by offering simple, transparent, and digital financial products. The company started with one product, a purple credit card with no annual fees. Unlike traditional banks, Nubank operated entirely online through a mobile app. Customers could apply for the card in minutes, manage everything from their phone, and never pay the hidden fees that had become a hallmark of Brazilian banking. At first, skeptics dismissed Nubank. Brazil was not known for fintech innovation, and many thought consumers would not trust a digital-only bank. But Nubank's value proposition was too powerful to ignore. People were tired of being abused by big banks. Word spread quickly, and Nubank's waiting list grew to hundreds of thousands within its first year. The purple credit card became a symbol of rebellion against traditional banking. Customers proudly shared their cards on social media, and Nubank built a cult-like following. Explosive growth. Nubank's growth over the next decade was staggering. From a single credit card, the company expanded into digital bank accounts, personal loans, small business products, and even investments. Its mobile app became one of the most downloaded financial apps in Latin America. By focusing on customer experience, Nubank won loyalty in a way traditional banks never could. Its customer service was fast, friendly, and transparent. Its products were designed to be simple and fair. And most importantly, Nubank eliminated fees, forcing competitors to rethink their business models. By 2021, Nubank had over 50 million customers and expanded beyond Brazil into Mexico and Colombia. It became the largest digital bank in the world by customer base. Investors took notice. The company raised billions in funding from top firms like Sequoia, Tiger Global, and Berkshire Hathaway. Yes, even Warren Buffett's firm invested in Nubank. When Nubank went public on the New York Stock Exchange in December 2021, it was valued at around $45 billion, making it one of the most valuable IPOs in history. Overnight, David Vélez became a billionaire many times over, a bank built on trust. What makes Nubank so extraordinary is not just its scale, but its philosophy. Unlike traditional banks that see customers as sources of revenue, Nubank built its model on trust. By eliminating fees and focusing on simplicity, it positioned itself as a customer-first company. This philosophy resonated deeply in Latin America, a region where banks had long been distrusted. For millions of people, Nubank was not just a bank, it was liberation. It gave them access to financial services without fear of hidden charges. It allowed small businesses to grow and families to save. It empowered people who had been excluded for decades. In a region where nearly half the population was unbanked, Nubank's digital approach provided financial inclusion at scale. With just a smartphone, anyone could join. Velez's leadership style. David Vélez is known for being humble, disciplined, and mission-driven. He does not cultivate the flashy persona of many tech billionaires. Instead, he focuses on building a company that reflects his values. Employees describe him as calm under pressure and deeply analytical. He surrounds himself with talent, including co-founder Cristina Junqueira, who became one of the most influential women in global finance. Together, they created a culture that emphasizes diversity, inclusion, and customer obsession. Despite leading a $100 billion company, Velez avoids extravagance. He is not interested in luxury for its own sake. Instead, he often talks about the importance of impact. For him, Nubank is not just a business, but a way to change Latin America's financial landscape for the better. Challenges and critics. Of course, Nubank's journey has not been without challenges. Operating in the financial sector means dealing with strict regulations, political uncertainty, and economic volatility. Brazil's economy has faced multiple crises in the past decade, testing Nubank's resilience. Critics have also questioned whether Nubank can maintain profitability while offering fee-free services. Its reliance on credit cards in a region with volatile currencies and high default rates has raised concerns. Additionally, as Nubank expands into new markets, it faces fierce competition from local banks and global fintech players. But so far, Nubank has proven resilient. Its ability to attract investment, innovate quickly, and retain customer trust has kept it ahead of competitors. The billionaire who built without fees. What makes David Vélez's story so compelling is that he became a billionaire by doing the opposite of what most bankers do. Instead of charging fees, he eliminated them. Instead of making banking complex, he simplified it. Instead of exploiting customer frustration, he built loyalty through fairness. This approach has made him one of the most admired entrepreneurs in Latin America. He represents a new kind of banker, one who uses technology to serve people, not trap them. And in the process, he has created a company that rivals the biggest banks in the world. Philanthropy and Purpose. Velez and his wife, entrepreneur Mariel Reyes, have also committed to philanthropy. In 2021, they joined the Giving Pledge, promising to donate most of their wealth to causes focused on social and environmental impact. Their focus is on improving opportunities in Latin America, particularly in education and equality. For Velez, wealth is not the goal, impact is. He often says that Nubank's mission is not just to build a bank, but to empower a generation. David Vélez's journey is extraordinary because it challenges everything we assume about banking. He built one of the most valuable financial companies in the world by refusing to play the traditional game. He eliminated fees, treated customers with respect, and built trust in an industry defined by mistrust. His story proves that disruption does not always come from technology alone. Sometimes it comes from a simple decision to do things differently. Velez looked at an industry that exploited people and asked, what if we built a bank that actually helped them? That question created a revolution. So here's the question for you. Do you think David Vélez's no-fee, customer-first model is the future of global banking? Or is it unique to Latin America's needs and unlikely to spread worldwide? Think about it, because the answer may shape how all of us interact with money in the years to come.